timeless secrets of the Sylvan Elves, a deep dive into their daily world. Welcome, seeker, to a journey not through space, but through a different kind of time. We think we know the Elves. We picture them as stoic warriors or dazzling, aloof rulers. But what if the greatest secret of the Elven race isn't their magic or their immortality, but something far simpler and more profound? What if the true power of the Sylvan Elves lies in what they do every single morning? Have you ever dreamed of entering a world where time flows differently and every tree holds its own secrets? Welcome to the forest of the Sylvan Elves, a place where the magic of everyday life becomes reality. The Sylvan Elves live in complete harmony with nature. They do not seek gold or power. Their wealth lies in quiet groves, the songs of the wind, and their deep understanding of the forest, which is their home. Each day begins with rituals that connect them to trees, animals, and invisible streams of energy. As dawn breaks, the forest shifts imperceptibly. Light flows like liquid through the canopy, spilling onto moss-covered paths. The elves awaken not with sudden movement, but with awareness. They lie still for a moment, feeling the rhythm of the forest, listening to the subtle changes in air and light. The rustle of leaves, the distant call of a bird, the whisper of wind through branches. Every sound is a note in the symphony of morning. Slowly, they rise. Their hands brush against the bark of trees, feeling texture, temperature, and subtle vibrations. Some kneel to touch the moss, inhaling the earthy fragrance. Each action is deliberate, a greeting, a dialogue with the living world around them. Even the smallest leaf, the tiniest sprout, is acknowledged with reverence. As they walk through the forest, they note the dew on plants, the direction of sunlight, and the shadows cast by the branches. Each detail is information: which plants are ready for harvest, which streams carry clear water, which paths are safest for travel. The elves move silently, blending into the environment, their presence barely disturbing the life around them. Herbs are gathered with care. Leaves, flowers, and roots are selected according to precise knowledge passed down through generations. Some herbs heal wounds, some ease the mind, some enhance clarity in dreams. Each plant is treated as a living teacher. They handle them with respect, taking only what is needed and leaving the rest to flourish. By mid-morning, small tasks fill the day. Some elves tend to water sources, ensuring streams remain pure. Others clear paths carefully, so that animals may move freely and young plants can grow undisturbed. Craftsmen carve, weave, and shape materials gathered from the forest. Each basket, each bowl, each piece of cloth reflects an understanding of both function and beauty. Nothing is made without thought. Every creation honors the forest. Movement and focus are also daily disciplines. Archery practice, walking meditations, stretching exercises. Every activity trains the body and mind. They synchronize breathing with steps, feeling the forest's subtle rhythms. Even mundane tasks are performed with awareness, teaching patience, balance, and the value of small, deliberate action. As the sun climbs higher, the forest is alive with sound and motion. Birds call, insects buzz, and the leaves respond to shifting currents of air. Elves pause frequently to observe a rabbit's cautious movement, the glint of sunlight on a spider's web, the ripple of water across rocks. All these details are noticed, remembered, and interpreted. Their knowledge of the forest is encyclopedic, accumulated over centuries, but it is lived rather than merely learned. Lunch is quiet and deliberate. Food is prepared from forest gardens, collected herbs, and occasional fruits. Each bite is appreciated for flavor, texture, and life force. Eating is an act of gratitude, connecting them to the cycles of growth and decay that sustain the world. Sharing food is also an act of community, reinforcing bonds and respect for each member's role in maintaining harmony. The afternoon flows like a river. Some elves continue crafting, some observe the movements of animals, some walk meditative paths through the woods. Each moment is purposeful yet unhurried. Nothing is wasted. Even idle moments are filled with observation, thought, and listening. In this attentiveness lies their greatest strength, awareness of the world in its smallest details. As light softens, shadows deepen, and the forest changes once more. Elves gather in small clearings, where soft fires illuminate faces and nearby leaves. Conversations are calm, stories are shared, and songs rise to fill the quiet. Music is not entertainment alone. It is memory, history, and teaching. Each melody carries knowledge, reminding listeners of the wisdom of ancestors and the subtleties of the natural world. Night brings new perspectives. The first stars appear, and the elves step outside the firelight to observe them. Constellations, planets, and the moon are recorded in memory. The heavens are guides, teachers, and mirrors of the forest. They are studied not for domination, but for understanding cycles, patterns, and timing. The forest and sky are one continuum. Sleep is approached as gently as waking. Elves rest knowing the forest surrounds and sustains them. Even in rest, awareness persists. The energy of trees, the hum of insects, the subtle pulse of earth beneath their bodies all continue to connect them to life around them. Dreams are welcomed as teachers, carrying wisdom in symbolic form. As the night deepens, the forest seems to breathe in unison with its inhabitants. Leaves rustle, streams ripple, and distant calls echo through the trees. The elves listen, absorb, and learn. Time is neither hurried nor segmented. It flows like water, continuous and unbroken. With each new dawn, the cycle begins again. Light spills through leaves, dew glistens, birds sing, and the forest awakens. Elves rise, breathe, observe, and move. Tasks are repeated, but each day brings nuance, subtle differences, and lessons hidden in the smallest details. The practice of living consciously transforms the ordinary into something extraordinary. Through these repeated daily acts, walking, listening, tending, creating, sharing, the Sylvan Elves sustain their harmony. They show that true power is not in conquest, but in attention, care, and awareness. Their lives are a testament to the profound effect of consistent, deliberate, and mindful action. Time in the forest is not measured by clocks or schedules. It is measured by the flow of sunlight, the growth of plants, the rise and fall of tides, and the cycles of stars. By aligning themselves with these natural rhythms, the elves live not just in the present, but in continuous dialogue with past and future. And so the forest endures, carrying the songs, footsteps, and whispers of the Sylvan Elves. Their secrets are not hidden in gold or artifacts, but in the rhythms of daily life, the small, deliberate, attentive acts that sustain harmony. Observing their ways offers more than insight. It offers a path to understanding time, life, and the quiet magic of the world around us. The Sylvan Elves teach that life's deepest wonders are subtle. They are found in careful observation, patient practice, and connection with the living world. Their days are long, quiet, and filled with purpose. Each sunrise, each breath of wind, each rustle of leaves is both lesson and gift. By following their example, we glimpse a different way of existing, one where awareness, patience, and respect for life transform the ordinary into the extraordinary. In this, the greatest secret of the Sylvan Elves is revealed, the magic of living fully, in harmony, and with attention to the ever-changing, eternal rhythms of the natural world. As the night deepens, the forest transforms. Shadows grow longer, and every rustle becomes a note in the symphony of life. The Sylvan Elves move with quiet purpose, their senses attuned to the subtle shifts in the world around them. Even the softest whisper of wind through leaves is observed, interpreted, and remembered. Each moment is an opportunity to learn, to witness, and to connect. They pause at streams to listen to water as it flows over stones. The sound is not merely noise. It is a language, carrying messages of the forest. A bend in the stream may signal the arrival of rain, the movement of fish, or the presence of unseen creatures. Elves drink sparingly, honoring the gift of life the water represents, and leave small offerings of leaves or petals, a gesture of reciprocity and respect. Every tree holds its own story. The Sylvan Elves touch the bark of ancient oaks and towering pines, feeling their history in the ridges and grooves. They listen to the creaks and shifts of wood and learn patience, resilience, and endurance. By understanding the trees, they understand the forest, and by understanding the forest, they understand themselves. In small clearings, the elves practice meditative exercises. Some move in slow, flowing patterns, synchronizing steps with breath. Others sit quietly, observing the dance of shadows and light. Some practice archery, not for hunting or competition, but as a means of concentration and harmony. Each arrow shot is measured, thoughtful, and in tune with the rhythm of the surrounding world. Even mundane tasks are transformed into rituals. Gathering fallen leaves, ranging stones along a path, tending to small forest gardens, all are performed with mindfulness. Each action reinforces the understanding that nothing exists in isolation. Every leaf, every stone, every creature contributes to the balance of life, and every interaction matters. As midnight approaches, the forest hums with unseen activity. Nocturnal creatures stir, their movements adding texture and depth to the night. The elves watch, learn, and adjust. They track subtle patterns, the flight of a bat, the glimmer of an insect's wings, the soft footsteps of a deer. All these observations feed into their understanding of cycles, patterns, and interconnections. The moon casts silver light across the forest floor. The Sylvan elves use this illumination to navigate and observe without disturbing the life around them. Shadows create moving tapestries that teach them perception, patience, and the fluidity of form. By night, they practice listening not only with ears but with all senses, feeling vibrations in the earth, sensing shifts in air pressure, and understanding the forest as a living organism. Sleep comes gradually, but even then, the elves maintain awareness. Dreams are considered teachers, carrying insights into the forest, the seasons, and their own inner lives. They wake with subtle awareness of the night's lessons, carrying wisdom into the new day. Dawn arrives, bringing with it the repetition and renewal of cycles. Light filters through leaves, dew glistens on moss, and birds begin their morning chorus. The elves awaken, stretch, and once more connect with the living world around them. Every day is similar, yet every day is unique. Slight shifts in wind, temperature, or light carry new information. Every day holds a lesson if observed closely. Morning rituals resume, touching trees, greeting streams, listening to the forest's whispers. Herbs are collected, streams inspected, and small gardens tended. Meals are prepared with gratitude, crafted from the gifts of the forest. Food is eaten slowly, savoring taste and texture, and acknowledging the life force that sustains them. Throughout the day, movement is mindful. Walking along paths, climbing gentle slopes, observing animals, practicing craft soul or exercises in presence. Elves take pauses, inhaling the scent of flowers, noting the flight of birds, or simply listening. Each moment of attention strengthens their connection to the world and enhances their understanding of it. Evenings are filled with storytelling. Around quiet fires, they recount histories, myths, and personal experiences. Songs are sung, melodies intertwining with the natural sounds of the forest. Each song carries lessons of cooperation, patience, observation, and respect. These rituals ensure that wisdom is shared, remembered, and honored. The night sky mirrors the forest in complexity and rhythm. Stars move across the heavens in predictable arcs. The moon shifts through phases, and planets travel their courses. The elves observe these movements, learning timing, cycles, and the relationship between celestial and terrestrial life. Knowledge is not wielded as power, but as guidance for living harmoniously. As darkness deepens, the forest breathes in unity with the Sylvan elves. Every rustle, every glimmer, every echo of distant life contributes to a living pattern of connection. In this shared existence, time loses its rigidity, becoming fluid, continuous, and meaningful. With each new dawn, the cycle continues. The forest awakens, life flourishes, and the elves rise once more to practice, observe, and live deliberately. Their secrets are not hidden in artifacts or treasure, but in the rhythm, attention, and mindfulness of each passing moment. And through this endless rhythm, morning, day, evening, night, the Sylvan elves reveal their true magic, the power to live fully, attentively, and in harmony with the living world. They remind us that time, life, and wonder are found not in extraordinary feats, but in the careful observation and participation in the ordinary, everyday flow of existence. As the new day unfolds, the forest seems to exhale, releasing the calm and stillness of night. The Sylvan elves awaken once more, their movements measured, deliberate, and in tune with the gentle rhythm of life around them. They do not rush, for they understand that time in the forest flows differently. Each moment is layered, dense with possibility, and every action carries meaning. They begin by listening to the wind brushing through the canopy, to the gentle drip of dew from leaf to leaf, to the distant call of a bird or the rustle of small creatures moving unseen in the underbrush. Each sound is information, a language of life, and the elves receive it with patience and reverence. Their morning walk through the forest is a slow procession. Feet sink slightly into moss, leaves release the scent of rain and soil, and the sun's rays spill patterns of gold and green across the forest floor. The elves pause frequently, noticing subtle changes, a new flower blooming, a spider's web glistening with dew, the shimmer of a stream over smooth stones. Every detail is observed, remembered, and honored. Herbs are gathered with ritualistic care. The elves know the precise moment when a leaf is most potent, when a root has reached its peak strength, and when a flower's essence is fully matured. They handle each plant gently, mindful of its life force, and leave small offerings in return. Nothing is taken without respect, and every act is balanced with gratitude. Small clearings in the forest become spaces of meditation. Elves stretch, move with deliberate grace, and synchronize breath with the natural rhythm around them. Archery practice, walking meditations, or quiet sitting sessions are all infused with mindfulness. Each movement teaches focus, patience, and unity with the forest. Even the act of drawing a bow becomes a conversation with wind, light, and shadow. Midday is a time of gentle activity. Streams are checked, paths maintained, gardens tended. Crafts are pursued with care, weaving baskets from reeds, carving bowls from fallen wood, shaping materials gathered from the forest. Each creation is more than functional, it is a reflection of the forest's harmony, an extension of its rhythm into human hands. Lunch is consumed slowly, as the elves savor not just taste, but the life force of the food. Meals are a meditation, a connection to the cycles of growth and decay, and a recognition of the intricate web of life that sustains them. Sharing food reinforces bonds and cultivates community, deepening the network of care that binds the elves together. As the afternoon progresses, the forest seems to shift subtly. Shadows lengthen, sunlight softens, and the air carries the faint, sweet scent of flowers and soil. Elves walk quietly, noting changes in the environment. Birds adjust their songs, insects move differently, and leaves respond to shifting breezes. Observation is continuous, and learning never ceases. Evenings are a return to shared experience. Elves gather near gentle fires in small clearings. Conversations are calm and deliberate. Songs are sung slowly, and stories are shared with nuance. Songs carry knowledge, history, and subtle instruction. Every note, every word, every pause conveys lessons in patience, cooperation, and understanding of the natural world. The night sky above mirrors the forest below. Stars rotate predictably, the moon shifts, and planets trace silent arcs. Elves observe these patterns, not as masters seeking control, but as students seeking harmony. Understanding celestial rhythms deepens their connection to terrestrial life and reinforces their awareness of cycles, cause and effect, and the unity of all things. Midnight is a time of subtle learning. Nocturnal creatures stir, and the elves watch, noting behavior, patterns, and movement. Even the rustle of leaves or the glint of moonlight on water is studied and interpreted. Sleep is approached gently, with awareness of the forest's pulse. Dreams are welcomed as teachers, offering insight into the forest, the self, and the flow of life. As the sun rises higher, the forest seems to breathe with renewed energy. Every leaf glistens with dew, reflecting fragments of light that dance across the ground. The sylvan elves move among the trees with a grace that mirrors the sway of branches in the morning breeze. Each step is deliberate, each gesture mindful. Even the smallest interaction, a hand brushing against moss, a footstep on soft earth, is performed with intention. Birds continue their songs, and the elves listen attentively. Their ears catch subtle variations, a trill signaling a hidden nest, a flutter indicating an insect's flight, the low hum of bees moving from flower to flower. Every sound informs their understanding of the forest, its rhythms, and its creatures. Observation is not passive. It is a form of participation, a dance with the living world. Throughout the morning, they gather herbs, roots, and wild fruits. The process is slow, meticulous, and imbued with ritual. Each plant is acknowledged before being picked, its energy respected, its place in the forest honored. They leave small offerings, petals, stones, or whispered words of thanks, maintaining balance and reciprocity with the natural world. Paths are cleared carefully, fallen branches are moved, stones arranged to guide water, and saplings protected from trampling. Every action sustains life in the forest and ensures that the delicate web of growth continues uninterrupted. Even a seemingly mundane task becomes an act of meditation, reinforcing harmony and connection. By midday, the sun filters through the canopy in shifting patterns. Shadows stretch and shrink, moving across moss and soil like living threads. The elves pause to observe, to feel the temperature of sunlight on their skin, the scent of the earth, the movement of air over leaves. These pauses, though quiet and unassuming, are essential. In stillness, they deepen their connection to the forest, noticing patterns invisible to the hurried eye. Meals are simple, yet profound. Forest fruits, nuts, herbs, and roots are prepared with care and eaten slowly. Each bite is savored, each flavor noted. Eating is not merely sustenance, it is meditation, or recognition of the intricate web of life that sustains them. Sharing food strengthens bonds within the community and reinforces respect for the energy that flows from soil to plant to hand. In the afternoon, the elves engage in crafting. Baskets, carved wooden bowls, and woven fabrics are created with precise attention to detail. Every curve, every weave, every knot is a reflection of the forest's patterns, a physical embodiment of harmony. The act of creating is meditative, a dialogue between the maker and the materials provided by the forest. Movement and practice remain central. Archery, walking meditations, and gentle stretching exercises train body and mind alike. Each movement is synchronized with breath, with the subtle shifts of sunlight, and with the rhythms of the surrounding life. Even play or exercise is a lesson in attentiveness, balance, and respect. As afternoon fades into evening, the forest changes once again. Shadows deepen, colors soften, and sounds shift. The wind carries the faint scent of flowers and earth. Animals prepare for night, and the elves observe, noting patterns and anticipating changes. The forest is alive with quiet activity, and every motion is recorded, consciously or unconsciously, in the memory of the elves. When night falls, small clearings become places of communal reflection. Fires are lit softly, illuminating faces and leaves alike. Songs rise slowly, stories are shared with nuance, and lessons are conveyed through melody and rhythm. Every sound connects listeners to the past, to the cycles of the forest, and to the eternal flow of life. The moon casts silver light across leaves and streams, creating moving patterns that teach perception, patience, and subtlety. Elves navigate these shadows with care, feeling vibrations through the earth, sensing changes in air, and observing the nocturnal creatures that move among them. Every movement, every sound, every reflection contributes to their ongoing education and understanding of the forest. Sleep approaches gently. Even as they rest, awareness lingers. Dreams are welcomed as teachers, carrying messages of life, growth, and subtle truths. When dawn comes again, the cycle of observation, care, and mindfulness resumes. Each day mirrors the last yet holds unique moments, new flowers, shifting sunlight, the first trill of a returning bird. The forest is always changing, always alive, and the elves move in harmony with its rhythm, through repetition, observation, and deliberate presence. The Sylvan Elves maintain balance and sustain harmony. Their magic is quiet and continuous, found in small acts, touching bark, observing movement, sharing stories, tending gardens, and walking slowly through their home. Time, attention, and reverence create a rhythm that preserves life and reveals truths invisible to the hurried or distracted eye. Light, shadow, leaf, stream, wind, and creature weave together into a living tapestry. The elves exist within this tapestry, learning, teaching, observing, and embodying harmony that endures across generations. Their greatest power is simple: to inhabit each moment fully, to live attentively, and to honor the eternal pulse of life around them. And so the forest endures. Each day repeats yet is never the same. Each breath, each glance, each movement is an opportunity for learning, reflection, and connection. In this continuous flow, the Sylvan Elves reveal the true secret of their existence, that the extraordinary is hidden within the ordinary, and that living fully in attention and harmony is the greatest magic of all. The forest shifts subtly with each passing hour. Light moves across leaves, streams shimmer with reflections, and shadows twist slowly across the ground. The Sylvan Elves move through this living landscape with awareness, noting each detail as though it were a secret waiting to be understood. They pause often, feeling the texture of bark beneath their fingers, inhaling the layered scents of moss, soil, and flowers, and listening to the myriad whispers of life around them. Every rustle of leaves, every ripple of water, every flutter of wings carries meaning. The elves observe patterns, noting the behavior of insects, the careful tread of a deer, or the song of a bird. These observations are not fleeting, they are stored in memory, woven into understanding. and carried forward as knowledge that informs every action, every decision, every step through the forest. Even the act of walking becomes an art of mindfulness. Feet sink gently into moss, brush against ferns, or step lightly over roots. They move with care, never disturbing more than necessary, attuning themselves to the vibrations of the earth beneath them. Each step is a dialogue with the forest, a way to honor life, and a method of learning its subtleties. When they gather herbs or fruits, the elves treat each plant with reverence. Leaves are observed for color and texture. Roots are tested for strength. Flowers are examined for fullness and scent. Nothing is taken without thought. Each offering, each harvested item, is accompanied by gratitude. Small tokens, petals, stones, or a whispered word of thanks are left behind to maintain the forest's balance. Midday brings a quiet rhythm. Streams are checked for clarity, small clearings tidied, and saplings protected. The elves craft tools, weave baskets, or carve wooden vessels. Each creation reflects the patterns of the forest, the curvature of a branch, the weave of a vine, the smoothness of a stone. These acts are slow, deliberate, and imbued with attention. The making itself is a meditation, a bridge between the self and the natural world. Meals are taken with care. The fruits, nuts, roots, and herbs are prepared with attention to their energy and flavor. Eating becomes a ceremony, a recognition of life that sustains them, and a moment to reflect on the interconnection of all things. Sharing these meals strengthens community, weaving relationships as surely as light threads through leaves. As afternoon fades, the forest's ambience deepens. Shadows stretch, the temperature shifts, and the scent of soy and blooming flowers becomes richer. The elves continue their work, pausing frequently to observe changes, a bird adjusting its song, a breeze stirring leaves, the shimmer of water over rocks. Each subtle shift is acknowledged and integrated into their understanding of the day. Evening draws them together. Small fires are lit in quiet clearings, soft light illuminating leaves, faces, and the gentle movements of those gathered. Stories are shared, songs sung, and knowledge passed. Melodies carry history and lessons, weaving together memory, observation, and wisdom. Listening is as important as speaking. Silence itself teaches. Night deepens. The moon casts pale silver light, and shadows dance across the forest floor. The elves navigate by touch, by sound, and by intuition. Every rustle, glimmer, or shift in the air is noted. The nocturnal creatures, owls, bats, foxes, and insects perform their nightly routines, and the elves watch in patient observation. Their understanding of the forest grows not through force, but through attentive presence. Sleep approaches gently. The elves lie in simple shelters or under open sky, feeling the pulse of the forest beneath them. Dreams are welcomed as teachers, bringing insight into the cycles of life, hidden patterns, and personal reflection. As the night deepens, even in rest, awareness remains. The forest and the elves exist in continuous dialogue. Morning unfolds slowly, like a ribbon of light unraveling across the forest. Every leaf, every blade of grass, and every droplet of dew seems to shimmer with renewed vitality. The sylvan elves move deliberately through this waking world, pausing to feel the rough texture of bark beneath their fingertips, inhaling the damp, earthy scent of soil, and listening to the chorus of birds, insects, and the gentle rustle of leaves in the breeze. The forest itself seems to guide their steps. Sunlight filters through the canopy, casting shifting patterns that dance on moss and stone. Streams glimmer, reflecting the sky and the surrounding greenery, and the air carries the faint perfume of flowers just beginning to bloom. Every element of the morning is observed, absorbed, and acknowledged. Herbs and plants are gathered with reverence. Each leaf, root, and flower is examined for vitality, each offering its own energy to the elves' daily rituals. Petals are left on the ground as a gesture of thanks, small stones are arranged as markers of respect, and soft words are whispered to honor the life taken. These acts, though subtle, maintain harmony and reinforce the elves' connection to the forest. Paths are tended carefully, fallen branches are moved, mossy stones aligned, and saplings protected from being trampled. Every small gesture is imbued with attention and intention, ensuring that the forest remains vibrant and balanced. Even the act of walking along familiar trails becomes a meditation, teaching patience, observation, and humility. Meals are prepared slowly, savoring the gifts of the forest. Fruits, nuts, roots, and herbs are arranged with care, each bite eaten mindfully. Eating becomes a ritual of gratitude, reinforcing the understanding that every meal is an exchange, a recognition of the intricate web of life that sustains them. Sharing these meals deepens bonds and strengthens the communal rhythm of their days. Throughout the morning, the elves practice movement and craft. Some walk silently along winding paths, synchronizing breath with step and wind. Others weave baskets, carve wooden bowls, or shape textiles from plant fibers. Each creation reflects the forms and rhythms of the forest, a physical manifestation of harmony. These activities are not hurried, they are deliberate, meditative, and continuous, connecting mind, body, and environment. As the day progresses, the forest itself becomes a teacher. The call of birds, the flight of insects, the shifting light, and the soft patterns of wind across leaves provide constant lessons in awareness, adaptability, and attentiveness. Even seemingly trivial changes, a new flower opening, a branch moving in a subtle breeze, the ripple of water over stones are noted and appreciated. Midday arrives with a quiet intensity. The sun reaches its zenith, casting clear light across streams, meadows, and groves. Elves pause frequently to absorb this energy, feeling the warmth on their skin, the fragrance of earth and flora, and the subtle hum of life that flows through all things. Every observation is an act of learning, every breath a connection to the pulse of the forest. As afternoon approaches, the rhythm of the forest shifts again. Shadows lengthen, the air cools slightly, and the subtle sounds of movement, leaves rustling, small creatures scuttling, water flowing gain prominence. The elves continue their careful attention, practicing crafts, tending gardens, and observing the world around them. Each moment of awareness strengthens their understanding of life's intricate patterns. Evening brings reflection. Fires are lit softly in small clearings, and the elves gather to share stories, songs, and experiences. Songs are not merely entertainment, they are lessons, histories, and reflections, carrying knowledge from one generation to the next. Listening, observing, and speaking in turn, the elves maintain the delicate balance of community, memory, and harmony. Night descends gradually. Moonlight spills through the canopy, silvering leaves and streams. Shadows move subtly across the forest floor, creating shifting patterns that teach perception, patience, and subtlety. Nocturnal creatures begin their nightly routines, and the elves watch attentively, recording patterns, movements, and behaviors. Each observation becomes part of a living memory, an ongoing dialogue with the world around them. Sleep comes gently. Even in rest, awareness persists. Dreams are welcomed as teachers, providing insight into the forest, its cycles, and the inner life of the elves themselves. As dawn approaches once more, the cycle of observation, care, reflection, and mindful presence begins again. Each repetition, though familiar, carries new lessons and subtle variations, making every day unique. With the first light of a new day, the forest breathes slowly, as if waking from a long, restful sleep. Mist curls over mossy stones and shimmers on the surface of the streams. Every leaf glistens with dew, each drop reflecting the pale gold of dawn. The sylvan elves rise in quiet synchrony with this unfolding light, their movements deliberate, slow, and attentive. Stretching, touching the rough bark of ancient trees, and breathing deeply, they greet the living energy of their world. The morning unfolds as a series of small rituals. Each elf pauses to feel the texture of moss, to listen to the soft trickle of water, to watch the way sunlight shifts across the forest floor. Birds sing with subtle variations, insects hum, and the rustle of leaves carries faint messages about the wind, the rain, or the movement of unseen creatures. Every sound, every scent, every change in temperature is absorbed and interpreted, forming a living map of the forest's present moment. Herbs, roots, and flowers are gathered with reverence. The elves examine each plant carefully, observing color, texture, and scent, tuning themselves to the vitality within. Petals may be left on the ground as offerings, small stones arranged with intention, and whispered words of gratitude accompany each harvest. Nothing is taken without respect. Each interaction is a balance, maintaining harmony and reciprocity with the life around them. Paths are tended slowly and deliberately. Fallen branches are moved, stones arranged, and young saplings protected. Each gesture sustains the forest, ensuring the web of life remains intact. Even walking becomes an exercise in mindfulness. Feet glide lightly over moss, avoiding roots, noticing subtle vibrations in the earth. sensing the presence of small creatures hidden nearby. Every step, every pause, every breath strengthens their connection to the world. As the sun rises higher, the forest hums with life. Streams glisten, leaves flutter, and small animals scurry through the undergrowth. The elves continue their morning practices, weaving baskets from reeds, carving bowls from fallen wood, shaping fibers into cloth. Each creation reflects the rhythm, form, and harmony of the forest. Making is not hurried. It is a meditation, a conversation between self and nature. Meals are approached with care and gratitude. Fruits, nuts, herbs, and roots are prepared thoughtfully and eaten slowly. Each bite is savored, each flavor noted. Eating is a ritual, a reflection on the cycles of life that sustain them. Sharing food deepens community bonds, weaving connection and cooperation into the rhythm of daily existence. As midday passes, the forest's energy shifts. Shadows lengthen, light softens, and the temperature changes subtly. The elves pause frequently to observe the forest, the angle of sunlight through leaves, the shimmer of water over stones, the pattern of a bird's flight. Every detail carries meaning and is absorbed into memory. Observing the forest is an act of learning, a practice of awareness that strengthens harmony and attunement. Afternoon brings crafting, tending gardens, and practicing mindful movement. Walking meditations, stretching, and archery exercises align body and mind with the forest's rhythms. Each action, no matter how small, is performed with full attention. Every swing of a hand, every careful step, every deliberate breath reinforces awareness and presence. As evening approaches, the forest shifts again. Light softens, the air cools, and subtle sounds gain prominence. The movement of nocturnal creatures, the rustle of leaves and gentle wind, the distant calls of birds preparing to roost. The elves observe, recording these changes, noting patterns, and adjusting their understanding of the day's flow. Night falls gradually. Fires are lit softly in clearings, casting gentle illumination over leaves, faces, and the surrounding forest. Stories are shared, songs sung, and lessons passed from one generation to the next. Music carries memory and wisdom, each note harmonizing with the natural chorus of insects, water, and wind. Silence itself teaches, and listening becomes a form of reverence. Moonlight spills across streams, leaves, and moss, casting shifting shadows that teach perception and patience. The elves navigate by intuition, sound, and touch. Every movement of an animal, every glimmer of light on water, every whisper of wind is noted. Even in stillness, awareness continues, reinforcing knowledge, harmony, and connection. Sleep arrives gently. The elves rest under open skies or in simple shelters, feeling the pulse of the forest beneath them. Dreams are welcomed as guides, offering insight into the forest's cycles, hidden patterns, and the nature of life itself. As dawn nears, the cycle begins. A new light spills over moss, dew glistens on leaves, and the forest awakens once more.